Good evening and welcome to the Business Day. I'm Javon Keys. Jamaicans are being told to brace for delays to their shipments coming out of the U.S. based on the strike action taking place with dock workers on the U.S. East and Gulf Coast. At least 25,000 workers represented by the International Longshoremen's Association walked off the job today after talks for a new contract for higher wages failed. This is the first strike in that area in 47 years, and reports are that about half of the goods going into the United States and 2/3 of exports will be impacted by the walk-off, affecting 14 ports running from Austin to Houston in Texas. Here in Jamaica, port operators Kingston Freeport Terminal Limited KFTL says this development poses significant challenges as the U.S. is one of Jamaica's major trading partners, particularly through some of the affected ports. KFTL says to reduce potential disruptions and maintain the flow of commerce, it is not accepting additional cargo bound for the United States. This is aimed at preventing congestion and preserving operational efficiency. The company says the duration and scale of disruption will largely depend on the length of the strike. Reports are that each day of industrial action could cost the U.S. economy some $5 billion. In the U.S. value chain, the strike is impacting the movement of all types of containerized shipments, from food to equipment. KFTL says Jamaicans should expect shipments to the U.S. East and Gulf Coasts to be delayed. Imports from the U.S. to Jamaica will also be affected. Local importers and exporters are being encouraged to, where possible, consider air freight, which however comes at a significantly higher cost. Exporters may look at alternative routes via the West Coast, though these options will be limited by capacity constraints and higher costs. The strike comes as a major blow, as both manufacturers and exporters are looking to bring in goods and supplies for the Christmas period and also meet early orders overseas. But more could also be brewing. Our news center understands that some groups of port workers locally may be on the brink of their own industrial action, depending on where union negotiations go. Let's head to the markets now. Banks and cambios are selling the American dollar for an average $158.81. The Canadian is going for $117.96. $212.65 is the average value of the pound, while the euro is trading for an average $178.81. To the stock market now, the JSE main index lost 979 points today, while the junior market index dropped by 12 points. Among the 39 winners were Knutsford Express Services, 138 Student Living Jamaica Preference Shares, MFS Capital Partners, Carib Cement Company, and Mayberry Jamaican Equities. The 48 losers were led by JMB Group 7% shares, First Rock Real Estate Investments US dollar shares, Margaritaville Turks, Jamaica Producers, and ISP Finance Services. 25 stocks closed the session, selling at the same price they started trading. To some company news now, the RJR Communications Group has announced changes to its senior management. In a release to the Jamaica Stock Exchange dated October 1, the group's parent company, Radio Jamaica Limited, which is also the parent company of this station, Television Jamaica, said it has made the Deputy CEO, that's Deputy Chief Executive Officer, and the Chief People Officer CPO positions in its executive structure redundant. This takes effect today, October 1. These posts were first introduced in October 2022. The decision means that DCO for Broadcast and Content Strategy, Dr. Claire Grant, and CPO, Mrs. Tanya Smith-Anderson, will both leave the group. The position of DCO for Print and Digital Strategy has been vacant since January after Mr. Anthony Smith was promoted to CEO. The company says the post will be eliminated going forward. Radio Jamaica Limited says the decision comes as part of an overall change to its operating model and an ongoing operations review to improve efficiency in its business. Dr. Grant and Mrs. Smith-Anderson have each served the group for more than 15 years. Mr. Smith, that's the CEO, says their contributions to the group and the media industry over the years have been significant. The RJR Group says the changes are an important part of the ongoing effort to transform the group, making it more efficient, agile, and profitable. And that's the Business Day. I'm Javon Keys. Good evening.